Hey team, it's time for an Early Career Designer's Portfolio Review. I'm Megan Thomas, and I'm a senior UX designer with almost 10 years of experience in enterprise software design. I've taught and mentored over 300 early career designers through UC Berkeley's UX UI Design Bootcamp. In this video, I'm going to review an early career designer's portfolio and share my thoughts as a senior designer. My goal is to provide actionable feedback to help them succeed as they look for a job in the UX industry. Join me for a stream of consciousness walkthrough as I assess one of their case studies. Remember, mine is just one opinion. Make sure to get multiple perspectives before making any changes. All right, let's dive into the review and learn together. Hey team, I'm super excited to see you today. I'm also super excited because I just did one of those throw a ball of trash across the room and it like totally did a 3-pointer. It was amazing. So I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm also excited to introduce you to Norma. Norma, thanks for giving me the opportunity to review your portfolio. So Norma has been learning mobile game development and has learned UX through building these games, testing what works, and is a self-taught UX and game designer. So that is really cool. We don't typically see a lot of those. And what I really appreciate about Norma is I'm looking at the form that they filled out and they said, it's going to be a lifelong. I said, when did you complete your UX program or learning? And Norma's answer is never. It's going to be a lifelong learning journey for me. And I'm like, same, Norma. All right, so we're here. And the first impression I get of your portfolio is, and I think this might be intentional, and I'm bringing my previously conceived prejudices here. So this is giving early 2000s, and that might be the actual intention. And I recognize that I'm the one who is like, oh, do I like that? Or do I have this this feels like not angel fire, but early web kind of stuff, which is not bad. Some people are really into this. I think maybe I'm not the target market for this, and that's probably why. I've spent zero time in the game development or game design space, so I need you to know that my personal preference and what I see as oh, that's compelling has nothing to do with your personal style, and it has nothing to do with what other people will perceive as a pleasing design. So we're not going to comment on that. I think it's super fun. You've got a lot of cute interactions. One thing I will say that is a little frustrating, and not frustrating as in this is a friction point, but it is a little bit of a usability thing. It's when I hover over something, the entire content of the window changes. So when I hover on this, now we have the label, the date, and the mobile project label, but everything else changes, the content. And say I'm just trying to scroll briefly through your website. Now we've actually got it's not quite flashing, it's not breaking any accessibility issues, but you are making it difficult for people to perceive the information. So it's adding to the cognitive load as they come through the website. I think the other, I don't want to say frustration. I will say that there is something that detracts a little bit from what I think you're doing here, and it might be your font choices. Now, I don't typically comment on font choices because that is, let me be honest, I own thousands of fonts that I have paid money for, and I think I used to think I was a graphic designer, and we don't typically use a lot of pretty fonts on our websites. I used to want to, and then I learned about accessibility, and so I'm like, womp womp. But that's okay. We can use them on everything else. What I see here is a lot of conflict on between the fonts. So you've got, I'm going to inspect some of these, and we're going to take a look at them ourselves. We don't need to have that. So if I look at this span over here, okay, thanks for letting, how did I do that? Okay, well, we did not mean to full screen Megan. Let's move you over here since apparently a nudge will not do. All right, so what I want to do is try and find that little bar. I want to look for your font type in here, Railway and Sans Serif for this font right here. I'm curious about this font. Let's figure this out. Oh goodness, hold on. I was hoping it would just be really easy to see. It's fine. So what I'm looking for is how many different types of fonts you have on this page. And it seems like we're going over the very standard example of no more than 3. So I'm pretty sure this is not Railway. This is another kind of font. And this is what happens. There we go. Okay, so font families being overridden by something else. Where you write overriding that. I know this is not super compelling video right now, but why am I not able to find this? This is very annoying to me. Maybe if I use this thing. Span color font. Oh, Jura. Okay, perfect. Thanks. All right, so we don't have a font. Yeah, okay, so that's Jura. That's Jura. That's UX Game. Or Jura. That's Railway. This is Play. You've got another Play. So you've got at least 3 on here. And I'm going to say, okay, we've got some font inside here. And then you have multiple fonts inside the visuals. So that's also Play. All right, so you have only 3, it looks like. But I would say that these aren't necessarily doing you any favors. So it's kind of causing a little bit of a visual distraction here. I will also say that some of the text, this is really hard to read. So maybe we've got some line height that is just a little overwhelming. This probably is more like a 1.0 line height instead of a really standard 1.6 or maybe a 1.4 that gives each line a little bit of breathing room. And if it doesn't have a lot of breathing room, it feels a little cramped. It feels a little bit overwhelming. So you've got all this space to use, but everything's staying in the center, which is another reason it kind of gives like a Web 2.0 kind of vibe to it. That said, all of these are really fun. I got to be honest, I'm super excited about the fact that you have actual levels in the play. Level 6000 was created by you. I think I know the password to this because you put it in the, yay. All right. Blocked. Here's a filled churro. Ooh, is that another one? Or is that Railway? It looks like it might be Railway. Nope, that's Futura. Futura. I don't know how to pronounce that. We're not going to worry about it. So we've got an overwhelming amount of fonts, and that might be stemming from the game design world where like we're getting attention, we're bringing fun and excitement in here, and that is not necessarily something that we look for in the UX world. So just consider what that is doing for the person who's reviewing your portfolio. All right. Again, we've got some small text here and really small line height, but we're gonna dig into this. So this is all right. I'm gonna watch this video. I'm gonna watch part of this video. Let's make sure I don't blast anyone out. Okay, we've matched some things. All right, in the Mobile Match 3 puzzle game world, engagement is all about content. It's especially important to provide fresh challenges for F2P casual mobile games like Cookie Jam. 2-player. You know what? I don't even know what that means. Also, this is super distracting sound. This is super cute. All right, I'm going to pause that because ADHD is strong today. All right, so F2P, I'm going to F2P mobile games meaning. What does that mean? Free to play. Clearly, I do not spend a lot of time in the gaming world. That feels pretty obvious. I'm not going to lie. So the fact that I didn't know that means if you're looking for a UX job, hiring managers might not know that either. So we are out here just people in, we're living our lives. And if I'm not the kind of person that's going to know about that or other free to play games, it might be worth explaining, saying free to play and then parentheses F2P, just to be really clear. When I joined the Cookie Jam design team, they were already running as a live SaaS product with over 4,000 levels, releasing dessert-themed maps with 20 bespoke levels every week. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Initially, my job was to produce those levels and the studio's in-house level editor following a weekly cadence of output. I had the honor of designing level 6000, shown in the explosive gameplay footage to the left. Amazing. All right. Final live filled churro blocker gameplay. I'm going to click on this. Oh, that's another 3 minutes. Blockers are the interactable obstacles that players encounter and interact with in order to achieve their level objectives. Footage of the blocker that I shipped into the live game can be seen to the right. Problem: end of content users have not encountered a new blocker interaction for hundreds of levels. The design team needed a new blocker to make levels with. The approach. Match 3 level design is a deceptively complicated balancing act. Ultimately, you want user engagement and retention, but there are many factors that must be balanced to create a genuinely fun and engaging level. I'm going to side note right now because I'm thinking back to a memory of probably my second year as a flight attendant. So I'm really confident. I've got some experience. I've flown at this point hundreds of flights, and I'm comfortable being in the front of the aircraft. So there is a thing called a flight lead, or at least it was when I was there. They have probably changed terminology because whatever. But the flight leader was the person who was responsible for first class, but also kind of like the manager of everybody else coordinating the service on the aircraft. There's not that much to it, but like people get real big for their britches. But I think we were doing a cross country flight. I don't remember, but I do remember I had someone in the row of seats 3 that kept farting, and his neighbor was like making these pained faces. And then the guy on the other side of the aisle in 4C was like really like overreacting and being frustrated and whatever. So I'm like, first of all, I have nothing else to do. The meal service is done. These people are just in their seats waiting for us to get to LA or something. The guy in 4C is really overreacting. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So like maybe there's drama. I don't know. So I come by and I lean over. Hi. I saw you making some faces. Is there anything I can do to help you? Can I make your flight just a little bit better? And he says, I'm sorry, I am just really having trouble getting past level 55 in Candy Crush or something. And I was like, sir, I cannot help you, but I really love that that's causing you so much stress and frustration that I can see it from the jump seat. So this is really fun. This is really fun context for me. And anyone who's ever played Candy Crush-like games, which is very similar to Cookie Jam, the Match 3 stuff, it is delightful and it is super frustrating. So I love that you have this. What I'm seeing so far is that you really could bring us a little bit more immersively into the game. And this might require you to be a little creative with how you use your coding skills, because it does seem like you've got the ability to create what you want on your website. You've got some interesting little features here. I would like not just context, which is a very passive kind of thing, but this is what they talk about when they're saying that they look for storytelling in your portfolio. So give me the context of the frustrated guy in 4C who cannot get past the level or is like bored with the levels. Help me as the hiring manager understand how you empathize with and see your users. And this gives you a lot of flexibility. So like, this calls for some, like one of those truly garbage old stock photos of like some guy like making a really goofy face and like really frustrated or whatever. Why do I do the bro voice when I do that? I have no idea. It would give you the opportunity to tell this story with more impact. So you don't have to tell me everything about it. I do want to see the video. And frankly, like, I love that you have this at the top. You might even make it a little bit bigger and say, if you want to see some of my work, you can watch this video or read on in order to find out how I made somebody's life better. Like, give me some clickbaity titles on, blocked, here's a filled churro. Tell me a little bit more about that, because I don't even know what being blocked means if I haven't played these games. So like, really bring me along with you. Talk to me maybe as if I'm like your Nana and you're like, all right, Nana, let me tell you this fun story of how this happened. And then you can take me through all of this and it will be even more compelling and exciting, because this is awesome. Whoa, win rates of 50, 30, and 10%. Woof, that's hard. I would be on medium for certain. There's a point in the gameplay where users can tell that existing interactions are stagnating and designers can tell that playing it safe, development-wise, will yield diminishing returns. What do you mean by diminishing returns in terms of novelty? So what I feel like we're doing is we're kind of talking about like things that we're deeply knowledgeable about, but your viewers might not really know that much about. So you could really make this fun and exciting, a little bit more visually interesting, frankly, and bring in some of those little gamification design elements like you've done here. Maybe bring in some visuals that you've helped create. I think this is fun. Like any challenge in changing behavior, there's a balance between user research and experimentation. Yep. VC spend, another opportunity for using the full words, not just the acronyms, because for lots of hiring managers who have dealt with more on the business side, VC is a venture capitalist. So somebody who's actually buying your company to spend money. And that implies, like at a glance, that how much did the venture capitalists spend on building this out? But that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about virtual currency. So like be really clear about that. I would also like this gets a little blended. It just kind of is like a wall of text. So bring in some more visuals, some more, again, just gamey elements. They don't have to be meaningful visuals. You don't have to show me charts. And by the way, this chart is not super helpful because I don't know what it means. I don't know how to read it. We've got things that are like really tiny and they're tilted on an axis. So what is this supposed to show me? And if it's saying like how much coin was spent versus this, like you might do a visual of like 55% virtual currency is part of the pie chart and 45% is this. And like the visual is coins versus points or something like that. Like there's visuals that you can bring in that don't have anything to do with like internal looking, hey, this is where we're trying to get. Tell me why this matters, not just that it exists. A pitch document. What? Let me see. Filled churro. Oh my God, I love a churro. This is so cute. Churro will only spawn when a piece of it is broken and can be placed from where the churro broke off. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is super fun. Honestly, the pitch document is pretty dope. I love that. I also want to make sure that like you're able to share that because that seems really, really detailed and information that is based on what the company builds and like the things, the questions that they would ask internally about why we should take your idea and run with it. It feels like there might be, and I'm just throwing this out there that it might be some information that maybe they don't want seen, but if you've already gotten approval for that, that is completely fine. That was really cool. I would even consider throwing that into a slide deck, taking out some of that maybe like proprietary language and saying, here's how I ideated a new level or a new tool for this. That is super fun. Sorry, I just got distracted by when users rage quit and go at least 14 days without returning to the game. That's an amazing impact. That is, you use tools like Tableau. Like all of this is hidden in the content. Like I want to know more. Like I use tools like Tableau and then iteratively tuned levels based on the following KPIs presented by the project managers. Like that itself is amazing. How much virtual currency is spent on boosters? We want this KPI to be high. Regularly allowed me hands-on experience working cross-functionally with product managers, software engineers, and other designers. Also a learning curve. Basically, what I think you should be able to do, oh, hey, there's your stuff. Started by sketching the flow to account for, okay, so this is the pitch document is similar to this. Got it. All right, this got way more interesting as we kept going on. And I don't, again, know exactly how to assess like game design. This feels really good. So the end of content user, this I would make a little bit more visual. So I feel like what you could look at is maybe a sales page, something that looks, how would you sell a game to a new user? Is how you could consider selling this case study to a hiring manager. Like take a look at the UI design used for the types of people who might enjoy this game. Like how are they presenting this information? Because that's the style this case study should be in. I like it, but it just feels really rudimentary on your layout skills and guiding people through that story. And also, I'll be honest, 3 GIFs at the same time on the screen is a lot. It's really distracting. And so it's going to be really hard to read the content that's anywhere near this if these are on the screen at the same time. So anything where this is still visible, all of these things, they're hard to read because this is distracting. So if anything, I would consider making that like a whole full width section where you would scroll between the three things. So you'd only see one GIF at a time and you'd have the information below it. So maybe a bigger version of this, and then that fruit roll-up blocker is to the right. And then you can scroll between it and see that there are three live, straightforward, pre-existing game objects that users were already familiar with. So like that is super helpful information. It's just really distracting halfway down the page. I also really love this. Like this needs a header. You started by quickly sketching the flow of the functionality. That's huge. You also kind of ideated vision boarding. This is storyboarding. This is bringing in the story of how would someone experience this and what happens if this versus if that. So this is a section on its own to talk through how you moved through that workflow. Gosh, I love this. Love that you created the flow chart of the various states. That is super helpful. That's like a user journey, a user task flow, or not a user journey, a user task flow is what I'm trying to say. This is so funny. And then the result, like that needs to be, if this is an H1, this is a heading, this some here needs to be a heading that makes more like cohesive sense, but your context, your headers, like this is huge. You actually saw people use your product. That's something that you made. Stage map 420. A level, what? Field Churro went live and was introduced to end of content users around levels, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm like, what's an end of content user? Learn from the PMs that the average Cookie Jam player is a mother or grandmother who doesn't hesitate to make in-app purchases that will help them clear all of the week's newly released levels within hours or days. That is amazing. Okay, and the user will feel frustrated. That is a user pain point that you brought in. This is context. Again, I didn't even read that when we scrolled past it the first time. So you calling out a user pain point, again, use some visual to be like, this frustrates people, and it causes them as a result to stop spending money on boosters if they don't understand how a new blocker interaction works. It makes them rage quit and not play the game. So like this is a huge point that a hiring manager would love to know, that you really understood like how not only does the user impact matter, but the income impact, the monthly recurring revenue is driven by how many people buy boosters in app. So that's also huge. And then, gosh, the fact that it never got to play with or create levels with the Field Churro blocker in the level editor. That's okay. The success earns you a transfer to the HGTV My Design team. I'm so glad it's out in the world too. Have you actually played it like on the phone? Like I kind of want to see a little video of that too. All right, highlights and key learning. Break this down into bullet points or something that I can quickly take away, because by now I have spent a lot of cognitive load on your portfolio. And as a hiring manager, like, do I really care what your opinion is? Like, yes, we're supposed to, but remember, the hiring manager has already been doing their day job. They've already been managing people. This is actually not one of their core like functionalities of their job, but they have to do it because they need to fill a spot on their team, because there's money to be made by hiring someone onto the team. So make this a really easy takeaway. This is a cute little churro down here. Oh my gosh, I love it. This is phenomenal. Call this out though as like, what's the takeaway? What's the call to action? So at the end of the game, actually, I wonder if like Cookie Jam has a Cookie Jam. Let's look at Cookie Jam. I'm going to open that. I'm going to open that. And I'm going to open that. All right. So we're going to look at Google Cookie Jam. App support about this game, data safety. All right, that's boring. You also, this is something a lot of people don't do. Something you could include in your case study is the feedback. You actually have ratings. How many ratings are on here? Rating 1 million reviews. Okay, so that is phenomenal. Those are numbers that matter. That's how you describe impact. So we have 1 million reviews. And then ratings and reviews, if I click through, most relevant, newest star rating, let's find 5-star. It doesn't tell me how many. That's rude. Whoa. You can start inferring some stuff though, because look at this. 84 people, 17, no. 123 people found that helpful. So I would go and find some of these most relevant, newest rating. We'll see. So I saw one that had like 496 found this review helpful. This is huge. You could actually call this out on your portfolio to say, I just love it. You can also, it depends, there was an AI product and now I don't remember what it was. Please, dear universe, send somebody to watch this portfolio review who knows what this is. But basically there's a website that can go through all the reviews and look for keywords. And you want to find out if someone has ever mentioned the word churro, right? So that would be, I mean, honestly, that would make my year to know that someone called out something specifically that I did. Oh my God. So if you find one here, that's amazing, but you can just grab screenshots of people who left reviews and put them in your case study as, hey, my work has impacted people and they freaking loved it. All right. No, do not open the App Store. This is interesting. 4.7. There are 448,000 ratings. What? Really? Like, am I mathing? 448,000 ratings. Wow. Okay. So Cookie Jam match 3. I can't really do anything about those ratings. All right. The Apple Store doesn't make that helpful either, but that means you can also say that this many people have used it, over 100 million people, and they've got this many ratings. That's freaking awesome. And then the last thing I wanted to see is, oh my God, sure, allow all. I don't care. This is the sales page for Cookie Jam at Jam City. Jam City wants people to come find out more about that. This is what I'm talking about. So crunch your cookies before they crumble. Look at the layout of this sales page so that you can steal ideas, steal like an artist. I can't remember who said that. There's an entire book about this. I think his name is Jeff. We'll figure it out. Then you can add video. So it's not super salesy, and that's interesting, but solve puzzles, 6,000 levels. But the layout here is super simple. We want to get people enticed to use it. So let's borrow some of those concepts for this. Like, treat your portfolio like a sales page, because you are selling yourself and your skills to the hiring manager, just like Cookie Jam is trying to sell to the average user to go download and play. And I'm super tempted. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to do it because I cannot get my brain distracted by that. I was addicted to League of Legends for entirely too long. I'm like, don't look at me. Okay. Thank you so much, Norma, for allowing me to review your portfolio, especially this case study. I am so impressed with what you've done here. If you are going to do the 8-bit or 16-bit character thing, I would really lean into that, but be really careful about how you're choosing your fonts and make sure that it's really easy for people to read what you've done. I am so incredibly impressed to know all of these things that I did not know before. And I genuinely hope that this is helpful feedback. Remember, get lots of feedback before making any changes. Mine is just one opinion. And if I'm the first one to tell you today, I'm super proud of you. I love you. And I cannot wait to celebrate your success. Everybody else have a great day. Leave a comment for Norma below, or for me if you want to see me do any particular topics or any kind of feedback you're looking for. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye.